You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Chris Gillis. What to say and when to say it if you're dating multiple men at the same time. Welcome, ladies. I mean, thank goodness we've had 12 hours to let our distaste for this so-called episode of The Bachelorette simmer. Because it was basically a commercial. However, there were some salient moments we will talk about.
Yeah, we're all better from our hangover from Men Tell All. I'm like, oh, what the hell? What they just force us to drink ABC.com nonstop and commercials for movies and TV shows and stuff that we're not signed up for.
Yeah, right. It's like, ew, Kardashians, no. The movie, okay, sure. Bachelor in Paradise, yes. Obviously, because I'm a roach and I'm just going to keep going for the leftover food on the floor.
Are you going to travel Virgin cruise? Did you look up one of those? You guys ready to ditch the RV for travel the world?
I'm not. I don't think I'm a cruise person, but that cruise did look really, 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 really cool. Like that boat looked really awesome. And so I'm sure they'll get a shit ton of business. And I did not go online, but I bet they totally have like a promo going. And what's funny is my middle daughter, her job, her career is brand partnerships. Mm-hmm. And I walked away going, wow, this is a great career for her. Because somebody put all those brand partnerships together and and they paid a lot of money and woo-woo. But you asked me a question before we get into our episode. Do you think Jesse Palmer is better than Chris Harrison?
You used to shit on him a lot. You were quick to dump on him.
No, to me, he's just vanilla. He's just come into the woodwork. Like he's fine. He says all the exact same lines. He's a little more pokes fun at the Bachelor franchise, which is a little funny, where he was like the most riveting show on TV. Like he doesn't take it quite so seriously in some moments, which is kind of enduring, endearing. Yeah, endearing. Thank you. Sometimes it is enduring. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I like him. I dig him, man. Yeah, I actually forgot. Just like I forgot the names of everybody who's going to the fantasy suites. I forgot the name of Chris Harrison temporarily. I think he did a great job. And yeah, he actually did bring a little drama out, which we'll talk about in a minute with, some of the harder questions with Nate. Maybe they were, I think Nate came prepared for his interview, so he knew what he was doing. But no, I thought he did a pretty damn good job. I wasn't mad at Chris Harrison, but I'm digging Jesse as well.
I think Chris Harrison should host Love Island.
Love Island.
Yeah, Love Island UK, because Laura Whitmore quit.
I thought, that's true. Well, I thought the Love Island guy was the funny guy with the
No. Well, he's the narrator, but they have a host, Laura Whitmore, and the host used to do more. But anyway, I'm like, Chris Harrison, go host Love Island. Okay. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is Nate. Nate the Great. Because so first of all, watching back Gabby breaking up with him because she doesn't think she could be a mom or be a good mom. One thing that I really want to give Nate some good words for is he didn't try and change her mind. He didn't try to be like, no, you'd be really great. And one thing he said on the show last night is, my daughter is my light, and being a parent is the most important thing I could do. And I want someone who will share that. And I give him a lot of woo-woo, because he doesn't want to have to convince somebody you're a good mom. He doesn't want to do that to his daughter. He wants somebody who's like, I want to have kids. I would be a great mom. I can't wait to do this with you. Maybe we'll have some more babies. And so I think that's really great because I think a lot of people will hear a reason why a guy or a woman isn't a good match and you'll try and talk them out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, maybe you do. No, you'd be really good. No, you'd love living in the city, and not living in a small town. And then that never works out. And so I just really love the way Nate took the answer and he didn't try and convince her and he just let it be and let it go. And so last night they talked about that and he was sweet. He's so cute. Mm-hmm. And then they said, but we heard online that you dated some women and you didn't tell them that you had a kid. So if your daughter is your light in your life, why do you hide her? And I will tell you in a minute why I loved his answer. And I actually applaud him for not telling people. But what did you think about that? Did you buy it? Do you have an opinion about when you have kids or when you have a circumstance? Do you put that out there?
Right. I thought, I would disagree with you a little bit. I'm not as angry as the internet. Internet is they think he's a two-faced liar and they just want to eviscerate him and they're going off on him. No, their trust is broken. I think they were so into him, so many of the viewers. And then when they found out, I think they felt like the side pieces that he sounded like he had a couple girls he was just, probably dating because he was out of a marriage and get his
right.
his physical needs met when there's nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I thought there was a little hypocrisy, by the way, when they were kind of making it sound like, there was something wrong with Nate. Jesse was almost like insinuating that he was, well, how could you be dating multiple women at the same time? I was like, dude, dipshit. That's what this whole show is about.
And that's what people do.
Sure.
Well, let me tell you what I think. I thought you were done. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I have many thoughts on that strange pineapple-headed dude. The other thing is that I think he's very well-spoken. And maybe they're considering testing him out in the waters to see what kind of feedback if he wants to be the next Bachelor. And he's very empathetic. Yeah, he's a great, he's just great at, like you said, navigating and not pushing when he shouldn't push and going back when he needs to go back. But I thought that it was bullshit because yes, I get it. You awesome. You got us all teary-eyed about how much you love your daughter. But in the end, he made it sound like he was protecting his daughter versus the possibility of being honest with the women he's dating. I thought he could have 100% said, hey, I have a daughter. You're not going to meet her because we're not there yet. And I'm here to protect her versus I would be pretty, if I was especially dating a girl, like one chick, allegedly they hooked up for like a year and a half. That's very problematic. That's a big secret to keep. So I didn't like the fact that he was keeping secrets. And so that's all I got.
Okay. Well, I agree with you on that. He could have said like, I have a daughter and you're not going to meet her. I mean, for sure. When I was single and I had kids, I definitely didn't introduce them to my kids at all. Like I think in the whole time I introduced them to 2 people in 5 years.
Wow. What did you tell guys? Did you always tell guys that come up on the first date that you had kids?
I don't remember. I know that I didn't hide it, but I also didn't want to show up to a date talking about my kids. I mean, I don't want to lead as like, I'm mom. Like, I'm really busy. I have 3 small kids. Here's my custody arrangement. Like, I can see you on the weekend. Like, that's just not sexy. But so I am going to say that Nate said, I went through a divorce. And by the way, I didn't even know that Nate was divorced. I thought maybe it was like a baby mama situation, but he was divorced and he was fucked up and he had this daughter and he was sort of like being a player and doing whatever he was doing. And I'm not sure if I get his motivation. Like, I don't want anyone I know to know this part of me because I'm trying to put this image out of this like cool, like hot guy.
Yeah.
And I want to like get laid and I want to do all this stuff. And I'm going to hide this part of me because I don't know if people will love and accept me or how to be a cool, hot guy and also be a dad. And he admitted that he was really confused and that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So I can see. So I guess what I'm saying is the best way to not bring his daughter into it and not talk about his daughter and not almost like tarnish the energy he has around his daughter is to keep those two things very, very separate.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even he didn't have enough honesty to tell these women that he had no intention of being in a relationship with them. And he just didn't want to get into that, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't think it was like the ideal thing, but I completely have compassion for it. And I'd rather have him do that rather than, and this is the big note for all of you who are listening and have kids, what so many people do, which is number one, all they do is talk about their kids. Or number two, they have dates and they're like, oh, I'll bring my kids. You bring your kids. We'll have a date and they can play in the park, which is like, you should not take your kids on a date if you can't get a babysitter. You should not be like having a bunch of photos of your kids on your profile. You should not be talking about your kid the entire time. In fact, one of our colleagues who is on our team is using our dating process. And she went on a date with a guy who was a 7-year-old. And she's like, literally, so all he did was talk. Like, I have a kid. I get it. But like all he did was talk about his kid. And so I would rather have Nate sort of make that mistake and learn from it rather than the like vomitocious, like get your kids all mixed up in your dating life mistake.
I love that. What is a good metric, time frame, checkpoint when you're dating somebody then and you do have a kid? To bring that up if it hasn't yet come to light, and how would you? What's the safe way to kind of weave it into the conversation?
So here's what's great about Nate is he did not lead with Gabby that I have a kid. I think he said it on maybe their second interaction or their second date or maybe their first one-on-one. And I loved the way he said it. He was like, I just want you to know I have. So I think that is totally great. But I don't think you, in my opinion, I am not a parenting expert and I do not play one on TV.
You're talking about you're not a parenting expert.
I'm not trained as a parent. I think I'm a great parent, but I think I'm not trained as a parenting expert. I'm not a parenting coach or anything. But what I'll say is this. I would not introduce your kids to the person that you're going to be with unless you are like committed and it is a long-term situation. And I know you grew up with a mom who introduced you to like a shit ton of men coming and going. And that just, how did that make you feel?
Not great, but also I knew they were losers and they were going to be gone the next day, or whatnot. So,
and how do you think that's impact? Like how much work have you had to do on yourself and relationships because of your mom and her misses in this area?
I would say it's okay. I would say it's more representative. It wasn't that that pain, that or whatever that uneasiness that was. I would say that was just a bigger symptom of the root lack of boundaries, I would say. And that's kind of goes back to what you said. And I think I've done a lot of work on myself because of her lack of boundaries and me trying to figure out where the edge of the world really exists. So I didn't fall over it. And because she wasn't cognizant of it and protective, I guess, as well, of the same way that Nate was like, hey, I'm going to wall my daughter off from everybody because she's not strong enough yet. Or I don't think she's, versus assuming that the women he's dating aren't strong enough, which is kind of like, oh, hold on. Now you're, kind of not giving these women much credit that you're dating on there. So, yeah.
I think it's interesting. I mean, like my ex-husband has a problem with boundaries in dating and relationships, and my adult kids are now having to deal with that. And it's really hard, right? Like I don't want to meet everyone that you're dating because I don't want to get invested because I don't know if this person's going to stay. And so that's a lot, and also if you're a single parent, then the children or adult children or whatever are like, I want to spend time with you, but now I have to spend time with you and this rando who may or may not be here next week. And why is my time with you having to be divided with this other person? And so I think it's messy. So that's what I'm saying. Like the name mistake is probably for the kid, like the best outcome. Like it's going to damage the kid the least. So if you're going to make a mistake, do that mistake.
I like what you said, and correct me if I'm missing something, but I felt like what you were almost saying is when I asked you the question about, well, when do you bring up the kids, Marni? Because this is a big part of your life. What I kind of heard you say in a roundabout way is you do not make an, cooking an ingredient. You don't add in that vital. You don't add that, bring up the children or whatever it is to you that represents, your metaphorical children that they need to know until you find out, until you get a strong sense the person actually likes you and you actually like them. That's when you proceed to go. And that's when you can continue, on with the track versus, like you said, as you were talking about how people bring their kids, I was thinking about people's Facebooks. Always made me barf when all my old, high school friends, you can't even see where they are because they have their children all stacked in front of them and you can see them kind of peeking their face over. And I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit about your kids. I probably don't even like little bastards. I like you. Now I don't like you that much because you're annoying me. And and so I think that's a good idea. Make sure right? What do you think?
Yeah, lead with yourself. I mean, I think you want to, in your dating, you want to lead with yourself. I have to be fully transparent for anyone who knows my story. The irony of all this conversation is when I met my husband, Jeremy, we met under the guise of I thought he was cute, but when we actually met up and he pursued me, I thought it was under the guise of friends. And so and he was asking me about the Hoffman process and all these sorts of things. And so I was like, hey, I'm having dinner with my kids at the beach. And he was like, oh, I'm riding by the beach. I'm like, come on over, because I literally was like, I'm not dating this guy. I'm not interested in this guy. In fact, my kids will be like, I cannot believe that you had Jeremy come meet us for that dinner at, what's C&O Trattoria on Venice Beach.
Yeah.
Wearing army fatigue camo pants from Target that were 5 sizes too big and just looking a wreck. That's the evidence that I literally had I did not know this guy was going to date this guy. And so I was like, yeah, just come over on your bike. I'm here with my kids. We're eating pasta. Hey, this is my friend from Hoffman, Jeremy. So that was just worked out that way. So the two men that I introduced my kids to were the very first boyfriend that I had for a couple of years and Jeremy. And that was I didn't even know he was going to be someone I would date.
That is cool. Wow. All right. I have so many questions about Jeremy, about how he didn't send out a better bat signal that he was interested.
Oh, he sent out no bat signal. When he kissed me, then when we went to the beach together, a week and a half or 2 weeks later and he kissed me, I was like, what? I'm like, I'm so confused. Okay, wait, I was looking for your notes, but we don't have any. Okay, so we don't have, there was so many commercials, we don't even have notes. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is Logan, being a bad guy because he liked Rachel, then he liked Gabby. And one thing that he said that I thought was actually an important point of the so few things that were said, is he said, I wish that I was waiting for the perfect moment to say what was going on. And I wish I would not have done that. I should have just said it. Because in the end, the cocktail party's canceled. He's going to tell a guy, but he can't. So yeah, he makes a mistake. And I think the takeaway from that is and this is funny because my youngest daughter was in Boston. She was there for an internship. She went online. She met a guy. And there was a moment where she was having feelings or wanting to talk to him. And she was like, maybe I'll wait, and then she was like, you know what? I need to have this conversation right now because I don't know what's going to happen. And I will have regret that I didn't speak my truth. So I'm doing it now. And I think that in the right context, that is a really great takeaway. Because sometimes if you wait for the right moment, you will hurt people's feelings in the end if they don't know where you really are, vis-a-vis the preview they showed for next week, where we know that Johnny and Jason are not really ready to be in a relationship. And it looks like they're going to tell Gabby that. And it's like, bro, you should have said that weeks ago. So say what you're looking for, say how you're feeling, and don't hold back. Like, just be honest.
Okay. Push back.
Oh, Chris is thinking. I wish we should really do videos so you can see him pondering.
I am. No, that's it. I know my eyes are all looking up. And that is a great question. And it's so, God, it is so scary. Yeah, it's like jumping off a high dive. I'm sure, women feel it as well. But man, it's navigating these scary relationships that we're so not genetically, in our DNA to do a good job on. We're just unga bunga trying to figure it out. It's tough. I know a lot of people fucking can't stand Logan and they think he's a snake. And I'm like, no. I never got that vibe, but I do. I feel for him with so much happening and moving quick. And I do think the producers were, taking away his time to make, he'd have a perfect time and they would screw it up. So gosh, Marn, I hear you on waiting for the perfect time versus, hey, this is good enough. But I also think there needs to be some, I don't know, I guess, because it's awkward too. We also don't want to be awkward. We also don't want to kiss you like Jeremy did when it's at the wrong time. And we also don't want to.
No, he kissed me at the right time. I just didn't know that it was coming.
You just it was coming. Yeah.
I just didn't know it was coming. I mean, look, he's dating. This is what happens in real life. You're dating so-and-so and you think you have a connection, but then you meet so-and-so online and you go on a few dates with her and you're like, oh, I like her better. So you can tell the first girl, oh, I think I have a better connection with someone else. So I'm going to end this.
Okay. This is my question. How do you know? Because like you said, you're like, oh, the teapot's been, boiling. You don't want to wait till it's whistling away. But so do you constantly drop in and like, all right, so let's say, you encourage people to date multiple people at the same time. So do you encourage, okay, I'm now going date number 8. By the way, you are in second place right now. You're at a 6.5. The other girl's at a 6.0. You narrowly took over to constantly give them updates.
No. But if somebody's asking or that somebody is like looking to meet the love of their life or they're there. And that's why, ladies, I'm constantly inviting you to make sure that the guy is on the same page and has the same relationship goals. And by the way, I've had clients of mine who men are like, are you dating other people? Like, I want to be exclusive, and they're not ready. And they have said, because I coach them to say, like, honestly, I am dating other people, but right now you're the front runner and I'm excited to see how this goes. I just don't feel ready to like make that kind of commitment right now. Kind of like Rachel said to Avon's dad, like, I really like your person, your son, but I can't tell you that he's my person yet.
Yeah, she did that pretty. Yeah.
I think she did that pretty well. I mean, considering she has 0 points, she got one basket so far.
For her well-paired communication. She 0.
She got 1 point for talking to Avon's dad. But
so to be clear, sum it up for me, because I'm not that smart when it comes to relationships. All right. So if I was Logan, what do you think he should have done that he didn't do? And what else can we take from that? I
think before the rose ceremony with Rachel, he should have said, hey, I have feelings for Gabby, and I'm really I would be dishonest if I didn't let you know that. And if you don't want to give me a rose, I totally understand that. Or he could have said, I need to remove myself from this rose ceremony because I have feelings for Gabby and I need to go tell her that. That would have honestly probably been the best. Like, you know how they make their own rules up now. So he could have just said, like, I'm out. I'm going to go, which is in the end, what happened? In the end, he took the rose from Rachel and then he said, just kidding. And then he went to talk to Gabby. I wish he just would have said that before the rose ceremony.
Remember how awkward it was? Like, Marni, do you always be honest?
Yeah. So what if it's awkward?
She was just she was still wiping boogers off her nose from the last guy saying that
I know, but that's because Rachel, because Rachel takes everything personally. Rachel can't handle rejection. So
dude, I would have hated him. It would have been so fucking awkward. I think he did the right thing. I do. I think, babe, do you remember we were all cringe. You were like, no, all those dudes were just coming up. They're all in a line saying,
but that's the way it is. Think about it. In reality, if you're online dating and you could see your profile and you could have a camera of every single man who's clicking on your profile or not, right now, every single one of you are getting rejected like 74 times. And 10 guys or 8 guys or 5 guys are liking you. That is what's actually happening. So fucking woman up and deal with it. You're going to get rejected. That's it. And because Rachel constantly is looking for validation, she's like shaking her teeth or chattering because she's afraid Avon's parents won't like her. And then they're like, you're nice. And she's like, yay, I'm happy. Like, like if you can date and be rejection proof, which means that when you get rejected, you don't think that there's something wrong with you, then you are gold. Like, and you're just going to like look for your match, because the truth is Rachel only needs one.
Yeah.
And okay. And then just as a side note, if we talk about the stupid show last night, they talked about all this shit, but they didn't say, so Logan, you had to leave because you had COVID. Like, were you bummed out that you didn't get to pursue Gabby? Gabby, how did it feel when Logan just totally disappeared?
Right.
They didn't talk about that.
We did talk about the new Kardashian season coming up.
They totally did. So I think we're like, I think there is no perfect timing. I think we're both agreed, like, be authentic, like, I would rather have someone be honest than avoid the conversation and ghost or just disappear. And if you put Logan in real life, he probably would have just ghosted on Rachel and then pursued Gabby. So at least he had the balls to like have the conversation and reject her. And in the end, it doesn't matter because Rachel and Gabby like love each other and they're so supportive that they can like get through anything together.
They can with each other.
They can. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about. I keep looking at my notes. I'm like, I have none. It's so annoying because usually we made our notes before we got on the air. The last thing I want to talk about is Tyler and everybody being like, it's cool.
Oh,
You rejected me. You're a great guy.
Dude, Marni, I
was like, really? Is anyone actually having like they're processing their feelings, or are you all auditioning for like the next Bachelor? I'm so confused.
I always get pissed off at the double standards of, like, all right, this episode, we're going to, you're the court, the women are your queens and you're the court jesters. And then, all right, guys, now all the guys put on these fucking Speedos and have to stuff it because it's cold outside. Your wiener doesn't look so small, and they humiliate yourself. And then at this, because our women are so strong and powerful. And then when it comes time to these heartfelt, these people who, these men who are falling in love with them, like with their girls, like Tyler. And then the question, they ask Rachel, are you okay? I'm like, baby, she's the one who fucking broke up, and she was over him, and he was eating her corn dog, and he kept going on. Why don't you turn to the dudes at some point? There's a big thing about they're all in therapy and talking about their vulnerability. They're the ones where you led them that it's a safe place to express their feelings, their emotions, but there was no aftercare, that I could see them. But it was said, are you girls okay? I'm like, that's all the girls did is just reject, and make these guys are the ones who need to be rejection proof. And there was no post care or questions that, it's opportunity for men to learn. By the way, it was like, maybe that's why there's only one goddamn guy in the audience dressed up as Rambo.
I know, the dog. I was like, what is that guy supposed to be? I didn't even get that.
You figured it, right? Remember, because the guy's dog.
Yeah. No, I know, but I didn't know that was Rambo until I like literally went online and did some research. Here's the other thing, Chris. I almost called you Christopher because I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
Rachel's apology for being so lame that she got rejected, that she canceled the date. And she was like, sorry, guys, that wasn't cool. And they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Totally.
Wasn't anyone like, hey, like that should have been a longer conversation? How did you feel? Like, Rachel, how do you look back on it now that you like couldn't get over your rejection to be with the guys that were interested in you? So the takeaway for that, ladies, is if you get rejected, if you have a bad day and you have a date, don't flake. Like, be resilient,
Right.
be resourceful, like show up, because what if the next great thing is right around the corner? Like have the skills to be able to like manage your emotions so that you can, be present. Because if our roller coaster of life is so Rachel-y, and that we see everything through the lens of like, do you approve of me or do you not? Life is going to give you circumstances that you can interpret as rejection every day, all day long, literally.
Yeah.
Every day, all day long. So you might want to flip that.
I feel like the show, the last few seasons, it's become not a safe space to be an imperfect human dating, and that the men, especially saw it last night, it was kind of annoying, sickening to me. They all had perfect answers. Everything was okay. And, their emotions they weren't important. And most importantly is that, whatever the girls did to him, absolutely, it's their journey. Shit on me, do whatever you need to bail on.
No accountability. No accountability.
One guy, Mario, made one little, hey,
Yep.
you did me dirty. And they were like, okay, quick, let's brush past that. Cause that's not the correct way for, I don't know, men to behave in 2022. You guys are supposed to be more supportive, and just the way, honestly, it sounds bad. But it seemed like the way that all those men were kind of white knighting as feminists up there, and they, as if they're, as if you could do anything to them and they're okay, and they would be so incredibly understanding. And that's what I didn't like about some of the guys I told you over the season, Tyler and all these. And I just felt like eventually, that's cool, I guess, to be that malleable and flexible and agreeable. But I know they had a spine and a backbone and opinions in there somewhere inside, and to see that they meant to all is normally where they finally say, you know what, that was fucked up. You guys,
exactly. They didn't do any of that.
No.
It was all just like, please don't say anything mean about me on Instagram.com.
Yeah, please don't bury me. Can't get me fired from my job or whatever it is. So before, we didn't see that, right? There was no drama. There was no yelling. The one guy who probably would have had something mean to say with the dog, Hayden or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
those
Rambo. People didn't come. They were like, fuck this shit. Yeah.
To show up. For everyone, all the girls in the audience, remember to grab their pitchforks and, let's get him. And that's kind of what I'm seeing online. And it's just, I think the audience member shows that it's not a very safe place for men to make relationship mistakes. And this is what I've repeated over and over on by doing these podcasts, is that this is not our strong point, ladies. We're good at a lot of things, picking heavy stuff up, but things you can't reach. We definitely have our value, but no, we don't navigate these waters as smoothly. And you guys know how, it's difficult enough for you ladies. That's probably why you're here. And, and you're seeing Marni and stuff. So just imagine doing that on, half the brain cells trying to figure it out. So the fact, that these guys aren't allowed to make messes, and then even say, ouch, hey, that hurt, by the way.
Even the race car driver.
Totally, babe.
Right? He's like, well, why did you didn't? He could have said like, well, you didn't even get me a chance. No, like, you didn't even know me. Like, nope. Why were you acting like you're into me? And then just out of nowhere, like that. And he didn't say that either. And I think we talked about this when it happened, about how, she was just ruling people. I don't know. I'm so upset.
Did you see what? No, Marni, this is what bugged me. She's like, oh, by the way, he's going to be just fine. Look at him. And you also could have apologized and said, hey, you know what? You're right. I was feeling rushed and nervous, and there were so many guys, and like, what am I going to do? Or something. You could have said something that was a little consoling versus, look at him, like he'll be just fine.
I just knew I had to follow my heart. Literally. Like if I drank, and that would be a great drinking game. How many times follow my heart, I'm just following my heart. I'm just following my heart. I don't know if you are or not, but I think that next week is going to be a total shit show. I mean, I hope it is. Because I want somebody to tell the gosh darn truth. And Jason and Johnny, like, shame on them for not for even signing up if they weren't really ready to have a relationship, but like, at least they're going to finally say it. we'll see what happens. But
So is it what is this? Is that the final episode next week?
no, according to our little research, it says that there are 2 or 3 more episodes left.
How?
I do not know. I do not know how there are 3 episodes left, but that's what it says.
You're gonna ride us right into Bachelor in Paradise, huh?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, which is starting to feels like so long. Let's see how many episodes. I'm live here, trying to figure this out. It's
normally, don't they go to? Is it are fantasy suites?
The final is going to end on Tuesday, September 20th.
Yeah, it's away.
That's what they say. So.
Okay.
I don't know, but we will be watching next week. Ladies, whatever you do, listen again and then life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to DWD VIP, that's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes, and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to DWDVIP.com. I'm Marni Batista, and let's talk soon.